Leave it a little moment, and hello and welcome to another episode of News from the Gelding. Okay, so I'm a bit lazy again today. This is going to be another live stream just so I haven't got to edit it. Hopefully no one joins. I don't think they will, but if they do, I'll just say hello. I've got a few things to talk about today. So first of all, welcome if any of my new subscribers are tuning in. By some minor miracle, I managed to get 6 in the last month, which is undoubtedly a new record for me. I think some of them perhaps are people that have bought some of my new paintings. So if you're one of them, welcome. Occasionally I do come out with a bit of bad language here and there, so if you don't like that sort of thing, perhaps don't watch. But anyway, the good thing about this is that whenever I'm working on new paintings, as I'm going to show some in a minute, you get to see them before they go on for sale. So at the moment I'm just selling through eBay just because I get a lot of traffic through there. They take a lot of fees away, so I'm not able to get the prices. After I factor in the all the fees and the costs of the canvas and the postage, which I include in the money, I'm more or less working for minimum wage or just below. But anyway, that's the way it is at the moment. One day I may garner more of a following and then I can sell them directly to you, in which case, you know, the prices will be more agreeable, hopefully. Who knows? Okay, so there we are. Okay, so the other thing for new viewers is I'll just do a very quick introduction of myself. So my name's John Chapman. I'm 41 now. My background is in fine art, really. I studied fine art. I did a degree in it and then a master's. Then I more or less fell out of love with the art world and more or less left it behind. So for the past 8 years or so, I've been working on writing instead. So I'm also a writer. I've self-published 3 books now, a piece of travel writing about a cycle ride I did across Japan, and 2 fantasy novels, and there's a 3rd one in the works. So the content on this, if you can call it content, is either going to be painting, writing, or just me babbling on about my own life. Some people may find that interesting, I don't know, I just do it anyway. Okay, so right, with that out of the way, do a bit of life very quickly. So another reason why I haven't got much time today is I've got to leave in an hour for my 2nd COVID jab. So I was one of the first ones to get one, really. Well, I got it quite early for the UK because my job is what do you call it? Well, it's I work with vulnerable children, driving them to a special school. So that's considered like a frontline work in effect. I don't know why, but the vulnerable children don't want. You know what I mean. So that means. Yeah, I got my first one very early, but for whatever reason, the council fucked up the 2nd booking for my jab, and so I've gone beyond the 12-week recommended time between jabs. But nevertheless, I'm going to have it today. I'm just slightly over the 12 weeks. I felt absolutely awful after the first one. The next day I felt really terrible, flu-like symptoms. So I'm hoping that's not going to be the case after the 2nd one. I think it tends to be better after the 2nd one, but I'm not holding out much hope. Luckily, it's a bank holiday tomorrow in the UK, so I should be able to recover nicely. So I also vape occasionally, so if you don't like seeing that, I'm sorry. Okay, so there we are. Otherwise, I've been spending quite a bit of time this week watching the snooker, the World's Snooker Championships, being held in Sheffield at the moment at the Crucible. I don't know if any of you like snooker or watch it at all, but I really love it because it's quite a relaxing sport to watch. Some would call it tedious, but I quite enjoy it. Anyway, very interestingly, for those of you that enjoy fantasy, all the players have nicknames. Some of them have quite a few of them, but so the game I watched yesterday in one of the semi-finals was Sean Murphy versus Kyle Wilson, yeah, something like that. So Wilson's known as the warrior, and Sean Murphy is the magician. The perfect combination. But it gets better. The final that's actually playing now, I should be watching it really, but this is dedication to my cause here. We've got Mark Selby versus Sean Murphy, who got to the final. So we've got the magician versus the jester from Leicester. So another wonderful little fluke of medieval terminology, which gets my heart racing, I must admit. By the way, I'm rooting for Sean Murphy. I think he's a bloody gem. Anyway, there we are. Also like Selby, but there we are. Right, okay, so let's get on with it. So I do have some new paintings to show you, although they're all in a state of... They're all half complete, I suppose you could say. Some of them are, most of them, well, 3 of them are abstract backgrounds that I'm going to do paintings on top of, as I've been doing recently. And the other 2 are commissions that I'm doing for my sister and my old friend Dan. I say commissions, but I'm just doing them for nothing. I did this little thing the other day, and if anyone, I wanted people to write down ideas for a painting, and then I would just do it. So anyway, I'll show you that now. So first of all, I'll do the commissions, shall we say. So the first one here it's only basic, it's just backgrounds at the moment under paintings. So this, it's quite shiny, but yeah, so this is going to be a kind of Arctic scene. There's going to be icebergs and whatnot here. Here's going to be a thick layer of ice, and this is kind of light shining through. There's going to be a very scared prawn here, or shrimp, and down here a giant sea monster. Yeah, that's one of Dan's ideas. He has very vivid dreams, and I imagine that's one of them. But anyway, yeah, I'm going to be painting that soon. It's dry now, so I can draw the next piece and hopefully paint it in one sitting. They are slightly wet. The second one is the one I'm doing for my sister. She requested a... Oh, hello there, Zsolt. Nice to see you. Haha. Okay, sorry, I'm just going to carry on, Zsolt. I'm kind of doing this as my normal video, but if you want to say anything, just do so and I'll reply to you whilst I'm doing this. Okay, the second one is the one I'm doing for my sister. So she requested a Japanese fairy surrounded by cherry blossoms and other Japanese paraphernalia in the background. I decided to go with Mount Fuji, and I've gone for it ended up being kind of a nighttime color palette. So I didn't plan that, so it's a bit darker than I envisaged, but what I'm going to do therefore is the fairy is going to be glowing, and so she will be illuminating the cherry blossom that surrounds her. It's a bit of a headache, I think. I'm not looking forward to trying to work out how to do that. The lighting source is going to be all over the place. Okay, right, those are the 2 I'm doing for other people. These ones are just ones that I'm just doing for myself, or to sell, hopefully, eventually. So these are the abstract backgrounds that I start with. This is the first one. So again, I've done similar ones to this. This is a fairly, I don't know what, that was kind of yellow ochre mixed with cadmium yellow, perhaps. I'm not quite sure. Maybe a bit of Naples yellow just to lighten it. Anyway, and then on this nice kind of pale, very, very faint violet mixed with phthalo blue, I believe. And unknowingly, a bit of white has appeared down here. I think I must have touched the canvas as I was putting it into the drying rack. So I'm going to have to go over that little bit, but no problem. Okay, next one is another abstract one. Okay, this is kind of... It's very, very simple, but I just wanted a simple background. It looks a little bit like a waterfall, I think, perhaps. So I was pricking around with this for ages, and it was going wrong. Ended up, actually, the other day I destroyed my art box because I got so angry that I ended up kicking it to death, I suppose you could say. I'm not a violent man at all, but once I get in the painting zone, my concentration is, I'm really concentrating, and what I had was a faulty brush, and it was spilling hairs all over the nice pristine surface I'd just spent best part of an hour trying to achieve, and it messed it up basically. Needless to say, that brush has been thrown into the dustbin. Okay, the last one. I've shown a clip of this before, but another abstract kind of sky, really. I suppose a sunset, you might say, or clouds. Just a random thing, very slightly blurred. Yeah, so I'll put another figure there, I think, but nothing too special. But I just like working from an abstract background. At the moment I do, anyway. Okay, so there we are. Those are the paintings that I've been doing this week. I've got a couple of others, but they're still wet. I tried to pick one up and I've got paint all over me. Okay, so the last piece of news, I suppose you could say, is a bit of writing news. So I did a bit of writing this week out of the blue. I haven't done any writing for 5 months or so, maybe. But anyway, I saw an advert for a writing competition for short stories, science fiction horror genre, which I've never written in before. It was, yeah, so Silver Shamrock Publishing, it was run by, and so yeah, you had to write a story like aliens or something involving monsters or something in a horror aspect in the science fiction genre. I ended up writing just over 4,000 words in 2 days, because I didn't see the advert for it until 2 days before the deadline. So I just did it very quickly. I had an idea straight away. God knows where it came from, and I went with it. So what I'm going to do before I leave is I'll read just a little bit of it, maybe just a page. But first of all, I'll tell you what it's about. So it's set on the moon, for one, and it's about the very first permanent base that's set up on the moon, and we follow the perspective of one of the astronauts who's going mad because he's found something in a crater on his mission that sent him round the bloody bend. But it's also done something quite strange to him, which we'll discover later on. But anyway, what I'll do is I'll just read you a page, and yeah, you can see what you think. I won't, obviously not going to read all of it, because if it ends up winning, it would be, the copyright would go to the publisher. But I'm I don't think I've got any chance. I think 75% of the submissions are from professional writers, and 25% will be taken from these submissions. Along with the submission, they wanted a writer's CV. Mine is as barren as a desert, and also social media links that you use as a writer. Now I'm imagining they're looking for writers that already have a significant following. That isn't me, because obviously if someone's already got a following, then it suggests that they may be more inclined to buy this anthology when it's released. But anyway, who knows? So right, well, I'm just going to read the first page, first few hundred words, I suppose. Okay, so I've called it Last Man. It's a play on the film that was recently released, First Man, about Neil Armstrong. So this is Last Man. Okay, just a little sip of tea first. Okay, it's all from his perspective. I can see them watching me from the habitation dome, their faces pressed to the windows like frightened children. One of them, likely Maris, will be suiting up at this very moment, hell-bent on saving my life and becoming the hero he already believes himself to be. I chuckled to myself at that little joke and released the last of the locking pins arrayed around my helmet. My fingers open within their clumsy gloved embrace, and the bright red pin drops to the ground. It falls slowly in the 1/5 Earth gravity, sailing down like a penny dropped in a dream. The pin makes a tiny crater in the moon dust at my feet, and I smile again in mountain anticipation. The crater. It all started with the crater. They have the floodlights on me now, like nervous prison guards observing a dangerous criminal in their midst. My shadow peels away into the absolute dark, stamping my body's signature on the cold desolation. Their fear is understandable, I suppose. It's not every day that you get to watch a highly trained astronaut preparing to remove his helmet in hard vacuum. To their ignorant minds, what I'm about to do amounts to suicide. If only they knew the truth, the miraculous transformation I'm about to bring into fruition. I'm going to leave it there. That's only 200 words, okay. But that gets a bit more involved after that, so I'll leave it there. But so, what we're dealing with here is this, in his madness or whatever's happened to him, he's threatening or preparing to remove his helmet on the surface of the moon, which is near to vacuum. It's a vacuum basically. There's no atmosphere on the moon. So it's instant, well, not instant death, but certain death. But he's doing it in such a way that suggests perhaps he's going to survive this act. So what it does is it keeps swapping between what he's narrating, what he's experiencing right in that moment, and also flitting back to his discovery, or how he discovered this thing that's changed him. So there we are. If I hear back, I may not even hear back from them. If I hear back and it's a no, then what I'll do is on a future episode, I'll just read the whole thing as a kind of a bedtime story to you. It's not a very pleasant story because it's quite, well, it's a horror story. Some of you may enjoy a horror story before bed. I know I do sometimes. So that's what I'll do. Okay, other than that, this week I'm planning on completing at least, hopefully, 2 paintings. I may even start writing another short story because it's got me into the mode now for wanting to write short stories. When you're writing a novel, it's very much harder because you're having to deal with narrative arcs that twist and turn through, in my case, 100,000 words or more, and it's quite difficult juggling different characters, different events, and all of that. Whereas a short story, in a nutshell, we're looking at 3,000 to 4,000 words or something, which for me is normally just one chapter of a book. So it's a lot easier, and you can get some really interesting concepts and run with them, beginning, middle, and end, just in that short space of time. Just hits you hard. It's really nice way to work, I think. So I'm going to do a bit more of that. Okay, other than that, yeah, that's all I'm doing. I may do another live stream, a proper one, soon, perhaps, but we'll see about that. Yeah, Zolt's already gone. Cheerio, Zsolt. And yeah, thanks for watching, everyone, and I'll be back soon with something of tiny bit of interest, perhaps. Okay, cheerio, and cheerio. Okay, just gotta wait a little bit because it'll cut me off else. Yep, that was everything. Five, 4, 3.